So in our previous chapters, we've been talking about using guest policy and OS policy. Now I've created a playlist for both of them, so you can just go check that out. The link would be in the description below. So if you're using your OS policy, one major advantage is that you can use a single policy to define or install packages in multiple operating systems. So let's see how this is done. So what we'll be doing is we'll be creating two instances. One would be Debian, which uses apt, and the other one would be CentOS, which uses yum. And then we'll be using one script to install Node.js in both of them. So let's see how this is done. First thing we'll do is we'll create those instances. So let's go to our console. Let's create those two instances. So it's going to be an E2 micro. And let's go to the boot disk. And let's make this as Debian, and let's make this as standard, and let's click on select. And let's create this instance. And similarly, we'll create another instance. Let's click on create instance. And this would be an E2 micro as well. And here again, the only difference now is you can change the boot disk. And here instead of Debian, what we'll choose is CentOS. And let's make this as standard persistent. And let's click on select and let's create this instance. Okay, so now let's look at the OS policy. So the OS policy has a mode of enforcement since we want to install Node.js. Now here the important thing is under the resource group, under the inventory filter, there's something else called as an OS short name. So if it is Debian, then we'll be using apt to install Node.js. Else, if it is CentOS, then we'll be using yum to install Node.js. Now that's the only difference between both of them. Everything else remains the same. So let's save this and let's create an OS policy assignment using this particular YAML file. So again, let's go back to our console. So here I'm in my compute engine, and underneath your compute engine, again, let's open a VM manager. And within the VM manager, there's the OS configuration manager. So let's open this. So currently you can see that we have two instances with no policies attached to it. So let's click on create an OS policy assignment. And let's just call this as node install. And let's add the OS policy that we created. So it's in a file called node YAML. So this corresponds to this particular YAML file that I just shown you. And let's click on done. And you also need to specify the zone. So it's both those instances are in US Central 1A. So let's click on start rollout and let's click on start rollout here as well. So this takes around 15-20 minutes. So I'll see you once this is done. Okay, so it's been around 10-15 minutes and you can see both these instances have the policies compliance. So what this would mean is that there is node installed in both of them. So let's have a look. So let's go to a virtual machine. And let's open any one of these instances. Let's open instance 2. Let's SSH into it. And let's do a node version and let's see if there is node present. And you can see that there is node present. So let's do node. And you can see the node interpreter works as well. So this is how you can use your guest OS to install packages in different operating systems. So I hope this was useful. I will see you in the next.